tonight on Y News. President Rodrigo Duterte suspends the National Bureau of Investigation's authority to implement drug laws. The National Bureau of Investigation relieves 4 top officials in line with the ongoing G kidnapped slay case. The Senate eyes a probe on Amnesty International's report on killings in the Philippines.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources orders the closure of more than 20 mining firms following the release of its latest mining audit report. Authorities launch a manhunt against 2 delinquent employers following the issuance of standing warrants of arrest from the Quezon City Regional Trial Court. And 4 are critically injured. 3 persons remain missing after a massive fire broke out in Cavite Export Processing Zone.
Y News begins now.
From the UNTV News and Rescue Command Center, this is Y News with Angelo Castro III and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Aside from the Philippine National Police, President Rodrigo Duterte has also decided to ban the National Bureau of Investigation from implementing drug laws. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
The Bureau is suspended from enforcing drug laws. Sali kayo kasi nawalaan na akong tiwala sa inyo.
President Rodrigo Duterte expressed his disappointment over the National Bureau of Investigation early today and decided to suspend the Bureau from implementing drug laws like what he imposed on the Philippine National Police. The president's reason for doing so is the corruption issues hounding the organization, one of which is the alleged involvement of some NBI agents in the abduction and killing of Korean businessman G Ju. The president stresses that he is only authorizing the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency and the Armed Forces of the Philippines to conduct anti-illegal drugs operation.
I still have to write whether it's a proclamation, executive order, but I've taken in the AFP and raised the issue of drugs as a national security threat so that they can call all the armed forces to assist.
However, the president pointed out that he sees no reason for now to declare martial law despite the suggestion of a lawmaker to impose it in some parts of Mindanao. Meanwhile, on the New People's Army's decision to withdraw their declaration of a unilateral ceasefire, the president says he will make a decision at the right time on what course of action to take. But the commander-in-chief once again scored the demand of the leftist group to release 400 political prisoners. He says that would imply that he is already giving them amnesty, which must be done only if the peace negotiations come into a positive conclusion.
Huwag niyo akong ipitin because the military might not like it. And then if the military would oust me, would kill me, you have nobody talking to you.
The president made it clear that he consults other agencies of government before coming up with a decision on certain matters. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
4 top officials of the National Bureau of Investigation were relieved amid a probe on the abduction and killing of Korean businessman G Ju. They are Attorney Jose Jojo Yap, the Deputy Director for Investigative Services, who was reassigned as OIC of the Information and Communications Technology Division. Attorney Rick Diaz, the Regional Director of NBI National Capital Region, who was returned to his mother unit, the Regional Operations Service. Attorney Darwin Leasing, NBI NCR Supervising Agent, now assigned to the Bicol region. And Attorney Roel Bolivar, Head of NBI Task Force Against Illegal Drugs, who was reassigned to the Office of the Director. Yap was replaced by Deputy Director Vicente de Guzman III, while Attorney Jonathan Galicia was designated Head of NBI Task Force Against Illegal Drugs. Attorney Sixto Burgos was assigned as OIC of the Intelligence Service. NBI Director Dante Geran relieved and reshuffled some of the Bureau's top officials following the allegations of Police Superintendent Rafael Dumlao that some NBI people might be involved in the abduction and killing of G. Senator Cheese Escudero sets to call for an investigation into the Amnesty International's report on killings related to the government's anti-drug war campaign. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
Senator Francis Escudero will file a Senate resolution that will seek a probe into the details of the report by the Amnesty International in relation to the anti-drug war. The senator says the human rights organization needs to prove its claims that cops are being paid to kill drug personalities.
Ito'y seryosong aligasyon nang galing pa sa isang international body na marapat at dapat alamin, hindi lamang nating lahat, pero pati na rin makita kung may basehan nga ba o wala dahil dumudungis ito sa imahe ng ating bansa sa daigdig.
The senator is open to conducting executive sessions in case there will be resource speakers who will provide confidential information. The Philippine National Police will also be given the chance to explain their side and clarify accusations against them. The resolution may be filed next week as soon as Senator Escudero's camp finishes reviewing the report. Meanwhile, some senators have expressed concerns over the alleged decrease in the number of vigilante killings following the suspension of the Oplan Tukhang.
Kung ang EJK pinag-uutos ng mga pulis gamit ng mga vigilante, bakit din tumigil? Malamang bayad na rin yun kung totoo man. Bakit biglang titigil kung may bayad na o bayad na?
Well, sabi ko nga, commendable coincidence, ano? Dahil, di ba, gusto rin naman natin talaga walang mapatay yung mga vigilantes. At kung meron naman silang patayan, masob ng police, ano? Mabuti na rin. If at all, merong connection, may correlation, pasalamat na rin tayo na walang namamatay o kung may namatay man, kakaunti na lang.
While they have not yet issued any statement on the matter, PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa earlier denied the involvement of the police in vigilante killings and summary executions. However, he has ordered for the cleansing of police ranks following the cases of cops being involved in crimes. Senators, meanwhile, have mixed reactions over plans to tap the armed forces of the Philippines to aid in the administration's drug war. Senator Lacson and De Lima believe it's dangerous to drag the AFP, while Senator Escudero suggests that the military still needs to be trained in law enforcement. Some lawmakers also believe that the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, is the right agency to spearhead the drug operations. PDEA Director General Isidro La Peña, on the other hand, says they will implement adjustments to fill in the gap left by the PNP. They also plan to coordinate with the local government and other agencies to strengthen its national anti-drug campaign. Joyce Balancho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Malacanang admits that the Philippine National Police is incapable of carrying out the anti-drug war of the government due to corruption within the organization. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Malacanang says it is possible for the police calawags to use the anti-drug war of President Rodrigo Duterte to cover up their misdeeds. However, this does not hinder the government from resolving the country's serious problem with illegal drugs. But for now, Malacanang says the PNP has no capacity to lead the anti-drug war of the administration until it is cleansed of corruption. The president ordered immediate internal cleansing of the PNP organization.
The PNP at this stage is, incapable of carrying out these very sensitive positions, and therefore these operations should now be referred to the proper organization, which is PDEA.
Meanwhile, Malacanang explains why was it only after the kidnap slay case of a South Korean businessman the president decided to remove the task of the anti-drug war operations from the Philippine National Police. Undersecretary Abella says the incident is a unique situation involving corrupt policemen.
The circumstances are unique in such an it speaks about a certain depth of impunity that is unimaginable.
In the end, Malacanang remains firm that police calawags are not from government.
Criminal cops are not government. Okay, their illegal acts do not represent the police institution whose duty is to ensure the protection and security of civilians.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The PNP anti-kidnapping group confirms that big syndicates might be behind the kidnapping and killing of Korean businessman Ji Ik-ju. The police unit also believes that Superintendent Rafael Dumlao is afraid of the said syndicates. That's why he chose to remain silent about the matter. Jun Soria will tell us why.
Nung nag-usap nga kami na personal, ang sabi niya sa akin, Santa Isabel, demonyo ka. Iyon ang unang sabi niya. Tapos, bakit takot ka kay Santa Isabel? Hindi sir. Dami nila. Ha? O sinong sila? Hindi nyo sila kaya, sir. Hindi nyo sila kaya. Yun ang exact word niya sa akin na umiyak.
Anti-Kidnapping Group Director Police Senior Superintendent Glenn Dumlao says this has been what Superintendent Rafael Dumlao, the alleged mastermind in the Ji Ik-ju kidnap slay case, told him. Despite this, Senior Superintendent Glenn Dumlao says they can fight against whoever Rafael claims as behind the killing of the Korean national.
Eh kung ang presidente nga natin, binabangga pa nga yung kahit na si President Obama ito lang itong mga to, sa galit din ni Chief PNP, sa galit din ni NBI Director.
Senior Superintendent Dumlao further adds that the police official has no other choice but to talk as he is being accused of masterminding the murder while the one really behind the killing is still free.
Bugbog na, mastermind, siya na lang lahat. So, it's high time naman na mag-opensiba sila to set the tone na hindi nga siya kasi bugbog na. All along, he keeps quiet. And dahil nga doon, ang sinasabi niya sa akin because of the threats.
The AKG is hoping for the faster resolution of the case, especially since the NBI and PNP have already formed a task force that would focus on the Ji Ik-ju case. Attorney Medardo de Lemos will be the one to lead the task force. The task force is also set to look into the angle that G's manpower services firm hires people for an online gambling or online gaming firm. Jun Suriao, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A total of 19 police members of the Angeles City Police Intelligence Unit have been relieved of their duties. Aga Kaakbay will tell us why.
Central Luzon Regional Director Police Chief Superintendent Aaron Aquino has ordered the relief of all 19 members of the Angeles City Police Office. This was after the men were implicated in the robbery extortion of 3 Korean nationals.
I also relieved all the personnel in the intelligence unit. There are about 19 personnel assigned on the intelligence unit of Angeles City Police Office.
Among the relieved personnel were 2 police officers and 17 non-commissioned police officers. Based on regional police investigation, the said policemen had been involved in a number of illegal activities.
There was an incident last October 24, 2016 that involves these 7 police personnel. And then again on December 1 and again on December 24. So that is the 4th, December 30, kung saan nabulgar yung kanilang katiwalian.
Aquino says it is a welcome development that some policemen are taking the initiative to inform the higher authorities in identifying police scalawags.
So may mga reports, yung iba nagsasalita na ginawa nila ito ng ganitong date, ng ganitong date, ng ganitong date. Ang mga biktima puro Koreano.
Meanwhile, Korean victim Lee Ki-hoon has already left the country for South Korea. The Angeles City Police hopes that Lee will maintain his communication with the authorities for the faster resolution of the case. Aga Kaakbay, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Criminal Investigation and Detection Group National Capital Region denies giving special treatment to former police officer Cesar Mancao following his voluntary surrender last Monday. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
Investigation and Detection Group National Capital Region confirmed that the former chief of the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Task Force Luzon o PAOK-TF, Police Senior Superintendent Cesar Mancao is detained at a separate detention cell. But according to CIDG NCR Chief Police Senior Superintendent Belly Tamayo, the fact that they did not detain Mancao at the detention cell where drug suspects and Abu Sayyaf members are also detained doesn't mean they are giving him special treatment. Tamayo argues they have to ensure Mancau's safety pending the order from the court as to where he will be detained as he is their liability.
He's in good physical condition, and we are very optimistic that he will be presented, if the court requires, he will be presented in good physical condition.
Mancau is currently detained at a room inside CIDG, and like other detainees, he is not allowed to leave. Although there is no one visiting him yet, Mancau is still entitled to have visitors, which are allowed only during Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 11 in the morning and 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
Since he turned himself to us, wala pa pong dumadalaw sa kanya.
The issue of giving special treatment to Mancau stemmed from the fact that he was the classmate of PNP Chief Police Director General Ronald Bato de la Rosa and CIDG Chief Police Director Ruel Obusan in the PMA Sinagtala class of 1986. He is the primary suspect in the murder of publicist Salvador Bubi Dacer and driver Emmanuel Corbito in November 2000 in the Makati Business District. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, releases the result of the mining audit in the country. Half of them were ordered to permanently shut down their operations. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
DENR Secretary Gina Lopez personally witnessed
through aerial survey the devastation that mining has caused on the country's mountains. This is why the official pushed for the closure of 23 of the 41 metal mines that have caused damages to the environment and community. 4 of them are mines in Zambales, 3 in Homonhon Island in Samar, 7 in Dinagat Island, 7 in Surigao del Norte, 1 in Benguet, and 1 in Bulacan. 5 mines were also suspended, 1 is deferred, while 12 passed the audit. Lopez says 15 of the mines to be closed are located in the watershed areas wherein mining operations is prohibited.
The decision on the watersheds is non-negotiable. You cannot and you must not and you should not have any mining which endangers the water supply of the Filipinos.
The UNTV drone captured the mining sites in Zambales last year and the same scenario was seen.
Polluted ang hangin, polluted ang dagat, polluted ang ilog. Hanggang dagat. Ang mga sakahan sira-sira.
The Secretary said despite the massive destruction of the environment due to mining, LGUs and communities gain significantly less because 82% of the profit goes to the mining company. The mining audit's action are seen to save wonderful places like the bonsai area in Dinagat Island. The DENR is now planning for the rehabilitation of areas damaged by mining.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Authorities are now looking for 2 employers who now have standing warrants of arrest issued by the Quezon City Regional Trial Court. Grace Casin will tell us why.
Celebrity Dr. Joel Mendez now has a standing warrant of arrest for his failure to remit the SSS contributions of his employees amounting to 1.8 million pesos since 2011. The authorities, however, failed to arrest him because according to one of his staff, Mendez is in Cagayan de Oro. According to SSS Legal Department, Mendez was given a chance to defend himself in court but he refused to cooperate.
Ito pong si Dr. Mendez hindi po umaten ng mga hearing na sumusunod. Noong una po, umaaten po siya. Noong sila na po ang dapat magpresenta ng ebidensya, hindi na po sila nagpresenta.
Meanwhile, another employer, the president of Ship Manning Agency, Peter Nicolas Tunjis II, also has a standing warrant of arrest for the same offense. According to his sister, Tunjis has not lived in their house for a very long time already. Tunjis failed to remit SSS contributions of his employees since 2008, amounting to 800,000 pesos. The court convicted Mendez and Tunjis for 6 to 7 years of imprisonment as they violated Section 22A of the Republic Act 8282 or SSS law.
Itong mga sineserve natin ng mga warrant of arrest ay base na sa final judgment. Executory meaning wala na pong appeal.
The authorities has now launched a manhunt against them as they are now considered wanted if they will not surrender to the police.
Patuloy po na paghahanapin sila ng mga police officer at balang araw po, siguradong mahuhuli din po sila.
SSS remind employers to regularly remit the contributions of their members to prevent imprisonment. All employees with concerns can go directly to any SSS branch or send an email at member_relations@sss.gov.ph. Grace Casten, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
4 persons are in critical condition while 3 are still missing in the massive factory fire at the Cavite Export Processing Zone. Jun Surya will tell us why.
Cavite Governor Jesus Crispin Remulla says at least 4,000 workers were inside when the fire broke at 6:15 in the evening yesterday at Cavite Export Processing Zone or EPSA in General Trias City. Though the fire is now under control, authorities couldn't declare total fire out. Over 100 individuals were injured, including 3 Japanese nationals. 3 persons are reported missing. UNTV drone has captured the extent of the fire from the House Technology Industries or HTI facility where housing materials for export to Japan are manufactured. It occupies 6 hectares of the Cavite Export Processing Zone and the biggest employer in the area with about 15,000 employees. Jerwin Bitang, an employee of HTI, says the fire spread swiftly coming from the second floor.
Pagkala ko doon sa may second floor, sa may panel so daw yun. Panel so daw. So wala pang 30 seconds, andun na sa third floor. Ang pagkakarinig ko parang sa panel so daw nag-fire wire.
30 of the injured are being treated at Divine Grace Medical Center. 4 of them are in critical condition. HTI promised to shoulder the medical expenses of the fire victims. Jun Suriao, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Law groups are now partnering with the Commission on Human Rights to give legal aid to victims of drug-related killings. Monhok Son will tell us why.
A memorandum of agreement has been signed between the Commission on Human Rights and various law groups to help victims of human rights violation. Among them are Artikulo 3, Ateneo Human Rights Center, and Free Legal Assistance Group. This after the Commission has requested to file charges against those involved in extrajudicial killings.
Filing charges and securing accountability in individual cases is something we are interested in, but ultimately we have to do other things as well.
CHR is pleased with the decision of the court to halt the operation of Oplan Tukhang due to violated human rights of people included on the watch list. The Commission also calls on the administration to treat the Amnesty International report seriously and follow due process and rule of law.
And when police authorities violate due process and human rights, they must be held to account. The PNP law itself says that the Internal Affairs Service must conduct an investigation at every instance when there is a discharge of a firearm and a death resulting from police operations.
Aside from legal aid, CHR will coordinate with health groups to give psychosocial support to victims of human rights violation. CHR says the partnership with law groups does not end here. They are expecting that more law groups will express their support to fight and defend human rights. Monhok Son, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Justice concludes its preliminary investigation on the multiple murder charges in relation to the killing of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa and inmate Raul Yap inside the Leyte Sub-Provincial Jail last November. Meanwhile, the respondents moved that the complaints filed against them by Kerwin Espinosa be stricken out. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The multiple murder case filed against 23 policemen of PNP CIDG Region 8 over the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa and inmate Raul Yap is now submitted for resolution before the Department of Justice. At today's hearing, respondents move to expunge the complaint filed by self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa, stating that he has no personal knowledge of the incident. Kerwin merely reiterated the allegations in the complaint complaint filed by the NBI.
Kasi nga, di ba, wala naman siya dito. So definitely, wala siyang personal knowledge as to the commission of the crime. But being the son of the late Mayor Espinosa, there has to be a private complainant on this case because Kerwin wanted to participate in the prosecution of the case. So,
former CIDG Region 8 Chief Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos also filed supplemental counter affidavit to refute Kerwin's allegations. He denies receiving drug money from the Espinosas. Marcos further insists Kerwin's allegations are motivated by anger and hatred to serve his revenge against them for causing the indictment and arrest of the Espinosas for drug trafficking and illegal possession of firearms. Meanwhile, Police Chief Inspector Leo Laraga claims Mayor Espinosa shot him first when he was approaching the cell and that he only returned fire, killing the mayor in the process. A lawyer for the respondents stated that no evidence has been submitted to prove that the policeman plotted to kill Espinosa inside his cell at Baybay Leyte Sub-Provincial Jail.
There is nothing in the affidavits of the witnesses of the complainant that ever established conspiracy. In fact, there is no conspiracy charge. It is more of the opinion of the National Bureau of Investigation.
He further alleges that the search warrant used in the police operation inside the jail facility last year is valid and that the policemen are only following a court order. The case is now closed and the DOJ panel will soon rule whether there is probable cause to indict the policemen. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The framers of the 1987 Freedom Constitution call on the government to stop pushing for the passage of the death penalty bill. Monokson will tell us why.
This is the Constitution I'm willing to die for. If I have to sign the Constitution again, I would repeat what I have said. This is the Constitution I'm willing to die for.
Personalities who drafted the 1987 Constitution strongly oppose the proposal to reimpose death penalty in the country. Former Chief Justice and Constitution Commissioner Hilario Davide says death penalty is inhumane and anti-poor.
A reimposition of the death penalty is a backward move. And again, I would say it is also anti-poor. Those affected by the imposition of the death penalty would be the poor.
Davide noted that the 1987 Freedom Constitution has in fact been a model copied by other countries for its humane provisions. If the death penalty bill will be passed into law, it will directly contradict the constitutional provision which says no person shall be deprived of life. Former Senator Rene Sagisag is also ready to defend what are stated in the highest law of the land.
To me, it's worse than extrajudicial execution. It is judicial murder. And history all over the world, anti-poor. Pag ikaw mayaman, malamang nando ka sa Kongreso gumagawa ng batas. No?
Some lawmakers also eye on pushing for several proposals, which others believe violates the Constitution, like legislations on federalism and same-sex marriage. Meanwhile, the 30th year of the 1987 Freedom Constitution is being celebrated today. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Department of National Defense assures that the communist rebels' lifting of their self-imposed unilateral ceasefire will not affect military operations. Brian De Paz will tell us why.
Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana assures that there will be no changes in the Armed Forces of the Philippines' deployment of soldiers to Basilan and Jolo despite the new People's Army's lifting of its self-imposed unilateral ceasefire. This alongside DND's recommendation to the government to continue the enforcement of its own unilateral ceasefire declaration. AFP says the move only signals the government's sincerity in pushing for peace with the rebel group. Despite this, the military is ready to defend itself in case the rebels attack them.
That has always been the standing orders naman.
kahit naka-passive operations tayo, it is still incumbent on our line unit. Siyempre, pag pinutokan kayo, you do not just stand there and kailangan na depensahan nyo naman sarili nyo. And that is always logical and it is reasonable for our armed forces to defend themselves.
Meanwhile, 2 soldiers of the 39 Infantry Battalion in Columbio, Sultan Kudarat are reportedly missing earlier this morning, while the remains of 3 other soldiers reportedly missing yesterday were already found in Bukidnon. The soldiers were believed to have been kidnapped by the NPA after it announced its withdrawal from their ceasefire declaration. The AFP calls on the rebels to immediately release the soldiers. Brian De Paz, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
The proposed bill that seeks to lower the age of criminal responsibility from 15 to 9 years old is still questionable as far as the members of the lower house is concerned. Nel Marie Buhok will tell us why.
Nag-aral ako ng law, 9 years old na yan. At mas advanced na tayo ngayon in terms of discernment. Bakit kailangan nating iakyat yan?
House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez stands firm in his position of lowering the age of criminal responsibility to 9 years old from the current 15 years old. Alvarez made this statement after a reported compromised agreement among some members of the House opposition bloc that instead of 9 years old, it will raise to 12 years old surfaced. Some lawmakers considered the issue of lowering the age of liability a big issue. According to House Deputy Speaker Sharon Garin, there are some of alternatives that need to look into by Congress, like imposing stiffer penalties to syndicates who use children in their illegal acts or crimes.
Go after the people that are utilizing minors to commit a crime. Or siguro naman we can develop some kind of a different kind of reform rather than imprisonment.
Meanwhile, Vice Chairperson of the House Committee on Welfare of Children and Bagong Henerasyon Party List Representative Bernadette Herrera D says she will focus on the enactment of her bill of promoting the positive and non-violent discipline to children that she believes is a better alternative of penalizing the juvenile age under the provisions of the proposed lowering the age of criminal liability.
Mas masakit pa sa bata kung tanggalan nyo ng iPad, tanggalan nyo ng cellphone, tanggalan nyo ng internet. I think that's even more hurtful to them than spanking them.
Other lawmakers say there are provisions of the current amended Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act that still need to be fully implemented for the welfare of children. Nel Marie Buhok, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Malacanang separates the issue of the Marcos burial from the commemoration of the EDSA People Power Revolution. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Although former President Ferdinand Marcos is one of the biggest reasons behind the historic EDSA People Power Revolution, Malacanang says that Marcos' burial in the libingan ng mga bayani has nothing to do with the commemoration of the EDSA Revolution.
How will the government commemorate EDSA People Power Revolution?
Very good. With dignity. Thank you very much.
Sir, wait. Sir, considering that the president...
Semicolon, yes.
Considering the president favored or he was amenable to the burial of the late dictator, who was ousted by the EDSA Revolution.
Well, the EDSA Revolution has its own particular dignity.
Undersecretary Abella cannot determine yet how the government will commemorate the EDSA Revolution under the Duterte administration, but he ensures that it will be given due honor.
Whatever they do will be to give it its due honor. That's what I'm saying. How it unfolds, we will have to find out.
Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea is assigned as the chair of the EDSA People Power Commission. The EDSA People Power Commission is tasked to plan, organize, and head the commemoration of the 1986 EDSA Revolution. It also has the responsibility to initiate activities to expand awareness and principles demonstrated in the revolution. It has not yet been determined who the counterpart of Medialdea will be in the private sector. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
A taxi driver at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport was arrested for overcharging his passenger. This incident led to the discovery of a syndicate at the NAIA taxi bay. Joanna will tell us why.
The January 27 Facebook post of a certain Raul Perez has gone viral. In the post, Perez complained about a taxi driver of Bernadelle Taxi with plate number 629 that he took from Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Perez claims having a heated argument with a driver who was charging him 300 pesos for every kilometer. The victim couldn't cry for help as the doors and windows of the cab were on a child lock. To get out of such predicament, Perez had to ask the driver to look for an ATM along Jupiter Street in Makati so he could withdraw money for the fare. When they reached the bank, Perez took the chance and immediately escaped. Several days after the victim sought help from authorities, the suspect, identified as Victorino Duldulao, age 36, was immediately arrested. Duldulao was arrested yesterday by the airport police while on standby at the NAIA Terminal 3. He is now facing charges of resistance and disobedience to lawful order, concealing true name, and direct assault upon a person in authority. He was also found to be using fake franchise and was also believed to be a member of the so-called Kambal Plaka gang. The suspect did not deny the allegations, further admitting that their group has been conducting the said modus operandi for a year now. In line with this, the Manila International Airport Authority created a task force to capture abusive taxi drivers and others abusing passengers at NAIA. MIAA and LTFRB have warned anew of holding responsible abusive taxi drivers. Jo Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The Bureau of Customs set to file a complaint against 2 consignees of onions that were shipped from India. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The Bureau of Customs or BOC seized 11 40-foot container vans containing sacks of onions at the Manila International Container Port. The cargo, which arrived from India in January, is estimated to be worth 15 million pesos. 8 of the containers are consigned under Meriban Sales Corporation in Binondo, Manila, while the 3 others are consigned under the Malaya Multipurpose Cooperative in Candaba, Pampanga. Based on BOC's investigation, the shipments have no permits from the Bureau of Plant and Industry. The agency says it is a clear violation of Republic Act 10845 or the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016.
Economic sabotage yan. Pag sibuyas kasi 1 million worth lang ay non-bailable na yan pag kinasuhan ka. So ito, pasok na pasok siya dun sa bagong batas.
Thus, BOC plans to file cases against the said consignees.
Kakasuhan natin talaga. Lalo na itong mga produktong agrikultura, hindi pwedeng kompetensyahin nila yung mga magsasaka natin.
Aside from these sacks of onions, the Bureau of Customs was also able to seize other agricultural products. This prompted the BOC to focus on addressing agricultural smuggling to prevent the government from losing billions of pesos worth of revenues due to the said illegal activity. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Bureau of Customs.
The Bureau of Customs opens today a container control unit for the monitoring of the entry of imported products into the country. Aiko Miguel is back to tell us why.
The training and capacity building under this project are critical to supporting the efforts of the Philippines to combat transnational organized crime and broader security threats.
The Bureau of Customs or BOC, in partnership with the United Nations on Drugs and Crime and the World Customs Organization, has formally opened its Container Control Unit or CCU. It is an intelligence office that will monitor the entry of imported goods into the country. It will be managed by several customs employees who had undergone 1 year of training in detecting suspicious products inside containers. United States and Canada are the major partners of Southeast Asian countries in launching programs that aim to obstruct the entry of smuggled products.
It is a mandatory resolution that requires all countries to put in place frontline law enforcement capacity at borders to detect and deter and prevent and combat the trafficking of weapons of mass destruction.
Customs Commissioner Nicanor Fealdon believes the CCU will greatly help not just in the agency's campaign against smuggling but also in keeping the country safe, especially since there's danger that weapons of mass destruction can be smuggled into the country.
We have a system here that's connected to the 35 countries that are members of this. Okay. And then when there is a suspected container coming from any of those countries going to the Philippines, they will be alerting us to that system.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Bureau of Customs.
Homeland Security Chief tours U.S.-Mexico border amid wall controversy. Noni Ramos will tell us why.
U.S. Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly took a flyover along the Texas-Mexico border in McAllen, Texas on Wednesday. Kelly was joined by Texas Governor Greg Abbott for the tour of the region at heart of a key issue for the incoming secretary, given President Donald Trump's commitment to building a wall along the U.S. and Mexico border. Abbott says Texas was ready to work with the federal government on border issues. The Texas border spans nearly 2,000 miles in length and is the entry point for many migrants who seek legal and illegal passage into the United States.
As Governor of Texas, I want to welcome you to the great state of Texas. Welcome you to our team here at the Texas Department of Public Safety. Let you know more about what we are doing and how we work in conjunction with your team, your operation with the United States of America.
Kelly noted that despite the controversy surrounding the border wall and who would pay for it, his primary focus would be those who work on the border at the ground level.
A lot of people, and particularly in Washington, that have opinions about this border. The only opinion in my view that counts right now are the people that work this border, whether they're Texas Public Safety or DHS. That's why I'm here. I'll be down a lot. A lot of people talk about the wall and talk about other types of aspects of the border. Came down here to find out. I suspect I have a pretty good idea. There's nothing like talking to the men and women that get dirty every day doing the nation's work.
Last week, Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto canceled the planned trip to meet with Trump, who has repeatedly demanded that Mexico pay for a wall on the border. Noni Ramos, UNTV News and Rescue, New York, USA.
China has stationed a new support vessel in Sanxia City in the South China Sea. Dulce Alarcon will tell us why.
A new support ship has completed its maiden voyage from Shanghai to China's southernmost island city of Sanxia on Monday morning, where it will be put into service. The vessel is 32 meters long and 12 meters wide and weighs 498 tons. It has endurance of 45 days and is able to resist gales with a speed of more than 60 kilometers per hour, according to its captain, Yin Minzeng. It was designed to help extinguish fires on the sea, tow vessels, and lose power and assist law enforcement vessels. In addition, it will provide supplies for islands of Sanxia.
它第一个是协助船舶进港出港的靠离泊的安全，第二个就是应急拖带，就是说有船在南海上面失去动力啊，不能自己航行了，那么我们船舶可以去把它拖带回来。第三个就是海上消防。
In addition, it will serve as a transportation ship to provide material supplies for islands of Sanxia. Sanxia City, under administration of South China's Hainan province, was established in 2012 to administer islets and reefs in the Xisha, Zhongsha, and Nansha islet groups, as well as waters in this area. Dulce Alarcon, UNTV News and Rescue, Shanghai, China.
Malaysia dismantles tourist facility at the Kota Kinabalu port after a recent shipwreck. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's autonomy is hit by critics after reports of alleged disappearance of a Chinese billionaire. Amiel Pascual will tell us why.
In Hong Kong,
The uncertain fate of Xiao Jianhua, a China-born billionaire last seen at a luxury Hong Kong hotel a week ago, has raised fresh fears about the city's autonomy amid media reports he may have been abducted by Chinese agents. Xiao, who has close ties to senior Chinese officials and their relatives, was ranked 32nd in the 2016 Hurun China Rich list, China's equivalent of the Forbes list, with a net worth of $5.97 billion. The Hong Kong police said in a statement that Xiao had entered mainland China through a border checkpoint on January 27 and that they were seeking more information on the case from Chinese authorities. In Malaysia, the Malaysian government on Wednesday dismantled the tourist facilities of the port from which the sunken boat had set out in Kota Kinabalu. Kota Kinabalu mayor says there are 3 ports in Kota Kinabalu for tourism purposes, and they are enough to meet the needs of all the tourist boats. He adds that the port being dismantled is not for commercial purposes. The mayor says the boats sailing from such ports were not registered, and so the government will have difficulties in obtaining information on the boats once accidents happen, which makes it hard to manage the boats. Yo says many tourist boats choose to set off from here due to economic reasons.
I was told that they only use this because they don't have to pay money to the local authority. If they use the jetty at the government jetty at certain point, they have to pay a fee.
The Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA said Wednesday that the search area would be expanded to 3,000 square nautical miles to cover waters of Sabah, neighboring Brunei, and for the first time near the Malaysian state of Sarawak. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue, Asia.
Thousands of self-proclaimed geeks and tech nerds flocked to Brazil's 10th campus party this week. Aga Kaakbay will tell us why.
The massive annual tech fair opened in Sao Paulo, Brazil on Tuesday and is bringing together some 1,300 programmers from several Latin American countries until Sunday. The event is expected to receive some 90,000 visitors. This year, the event will feature the Big Hackathon, a hacking marathon co-sponsored by the United Nations Development Program. The competition is a 100-hour challenge that has participants developing tech solutions for global sustainability. Campus Party is an opportunity for tech-savvy nerds to meet in person and share ideas and knowledge they usually only discuss on social networks. The event also brings in tech personalities for lecturers, debates, and workshops about a wide range of themes regarding innovations.
Aqui a gente conecta comunidades de todos os setores: entretenimento, empreendedorismo, criatividade, inovação, ciências, enfim. Aqui a gente consegue conectar vários jovens, e quando eu digo jovens, jovens de 18 a 90 anos, porque eu não estou falando de jovens de idade cronológica, eu estou dizendo jovens de espírito jovem, que quer fazer algo pelo planeta, quer fazer algo pelo país, pela sua cidade, jovens que querem realmente transformar a economia e a forma da sociedade conviver.
Organizers also hand out prizes to participants, including one for most creative computer, which is chosen by the end of the week. Computer enthusiasts boost elaborate desktops made to look like characters from film and video games. The fair is also an excellent opportunity for youngsters to show off their creations and discuss ideas with other tech lovers and get funding for their startups.
Mas assim, a gente vai conhecendo coisas da tecnologia que a gente não conhece. E no meu caso, que faço um curso ligado à educação, eu posso linkar e posso estar usando na minha área. Então, esse conhecimento é muito enriquecedor.
A huge section of the event's pavilion is reserved for camping tents, where most participants sleep during the week. Campus Party started in 1997 in Spain as an event for internet enthusiasts and became the trendsetter for many disciplines such as robotics and software creation. Annual editions are also held in Valencia, Bogota, and Mexico City. Aga Kaakbay, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Egypt advances to the African Cup of Nations this season. Meanwhile, Japan will take measures to lessen cigarette smoking in Tokyo ahead of the 2020 Summer Olympic Games. Aaron Romero tells us why.
Japan must take measures to make public places in its capital smoke-free by the time it hosts the 2020 Summer Olympics, or risk falling afoul of International Olympic Committee rules that call for healthy games, according to activists. The IOC requires tobacco-free games, and all recent host cities have passed legislation to ban smoking indoors, including bars, cafes, and restaurants. In soccer, Nigerian striker Odion Ighalo joins Chinese Super League side Changchun Yatai from Watford on a permanent deal, says the Premier League club. Ighalo joins a list of top players moving to Chinese soccer clubs, with Chelsea's Brazilian midfielder Oscar, who moved to Shanghai SIPG, and Carlos Tevez, who moved to Shanghai Shenhua. Meanwhile, Egypt's goalkeeper Essam El Hadari saved 2 spot kicks as his side advances to the African Nations Cup final by defeating Burkina Faso 4-3 on penalties on Wednesday. The match ended in a 1-1 draw after Mohamed Salah handed Egypt a 66-minute lead, but Burkina pulled level 7 minutes later through a wrist-tied bans. 7-time champions Egypt now awaits its opponents in Sunday's final in Libreville, as Ghana and Cameroon play today in Franceville in the second semi. Aaron Romero, UNTV News and Rescue, New York.
The PNP responders prepares for challenges posed by the BFP firefighters in the quarter-final round of the UNTV Cup Season 5. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
It's game on at the UNTV Cup Season 5 quarterfinals with the AFP Cavaliers, PNP responders, Malacanang Kamao, and the BFE firefighters delivering more hoop action. On Sunday at 3 p.m., the firefighters and the responders will bring tremors on the UNTV Cup hardwood, with the BFP in a win-or-go-home situation and the policemen with a twice-to-beat advantage. That is why the firemen are working hard for the all-out battle.
Masyadong mataas ang adrenaline ng bawat team. We'll do the double effort para lalong lumakas ang team.
BFP head coach Ramon Garcia takes pride in the recent accomplishments of his team, the biggest one of which is toppling the powerhouse BOC Transformers.
I think siguro habang tumatagal yung league, nagkakaroon kami ng cohesiveness sa team. So medyo nagkakaroon kami ng teamwork ngayon, kaya medyo lumalakas.
On the other hand, PNP head coach Ernie Santa Cruz is up for the challenge posed by the BFP.
So babalik kami dun sa last game namin. At the same time, babalik pa rin kami dun sa mga game na nanalo sila. So mag-aaral kami. Preparation pa rin kami.
If the PNP wins, the Cubs will automatically advance to the semi-final round. But if the VFP wins, the two teams will meet in another face-off to determine which side will take on the BOC Transformers or the Judiciary Magis in the semi-finals. Watch out for the Responders Firefighters Battle, which airs live on UNTV, emanating from Pasig City Sports Arena with live streaming via UNTVweb.com. Bernard Dadis for UNTV Cup Season 5.
Those are the reasons behind the news, February 2, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Darlene Basingan.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching Why News.